expats that need to file a 1040 tax return to the IRS. What are the deadlines for the submission of your 1040 tax return? And what are the deadlines for the payment of your tax liability? And are they the same? Well, most likely, no, they're not. Hi everyone, my name is Simon Mishevich from Optimize Accountants, and I'm going to explain to you the filing deadlines for your 1040 tax returns that needs to be submitted and paid to the IRS. Now, let's go through. There's a lot of details here, especially for you expats watching this video. It doesn't matter if you're living in the United Kingdom, you could be anywhere in the world. The filing requirements for the IRS are going to be universal. So this video is good for all expats watching this video. So if you are an American citizen and you're living abroad, well, you probably will know that your tax return deadline is April 15. So April 15 is typically when you had to do your tax return. However, bank holidays come into play. As you can see there, it says April 2022. By the way, this is a document that you can see freely yourself, and you can see the URL there, but it's headed IRS, US citizens, resident aliens abroad. Interesting one, aliens. But anyway, moving on. So if you have got anything going on there, I am referring to expats here for Americans living in the United Kingdom or any other foreign country for that matter, filing 1040s, but you could also be an alien, someone that is not an American citizen, but has to do filing tax returns anyway. So a couple of key deadlines. We've just explained about April the 18th, but of course, it doesn't preclude the aspect of your FBAR. So if you've got any financial interest abroad, then you might have to do an FBAR return as well, which is separate from the tax return 1040. I'm not going to dwell on that too much, but I do want to focus on as well, does the deadline April stick for you expats or other extensions that can apply? And there are a few, so stick around. Don't just come off when you think, okay, that's related to me, I'm gone. Please stick around because there are some things I think it's going to be useful for you to understand the deadlines and the process for these deadlines. So the second section here is to say if you are a US citizen and residing overseas, for 2021, you must pay your tax by April 18, 2022. The key thing here is we're talking about extensions of filing. We're not talking about tax payments that are due. So if you are in a low tax country, you may as well do your tax return anyway if you do not want to pay any penalties, because you will end up paying more tax in the United States than a low tax country such as Hong Kong, as an example, or Dubai. If you are in the United Kingdom or other parts of Spain, France even, then you may not pay any tax in the United States. So filing late and paying late, well, you're not going to be paying, so there is no issues. But you do need to make sure that if you have any tax liabilities to the IRS in the United States, then you might need to pay those, because you will be charged interest if not. There is an automatic deadline of 2 months. So if you are abroad, you do not need to notify the IRS about this. You are given that 2-month automatic deadline, and there's no issues with that. However, so now we go from April the 18th, now we're going all the way to June, and we're going to say, well, actually, if we're given that 2 months, is there an extra extension? Yes, otherwise this would be a rubbish video. So the next extension we should be looking at is the 4868 form, which we're going to go through, which is talking about extending your deadline all the way through to October. Again, this is extending your tax return, your 1040 tax return to the IRS, not your tax payment. So please, please, please be careful of that. Okay, there's nothing else on this particular documents, but do have a look at US citizens and residents, aliens living abroad. Aliens, lovely. Okay, let's talk about the 4868 form and what you need to think about here. This is the extension from the middle of June to October. So if you need extra time to file your 1040 tax return to the IRS, this is perfect. This 4868 form is what you need to file. How do you submit a 4868 to the IRS so that they know that you're extending and just not thinking that you've gone AWOL? Well, you can, if you pay electronically. Actually, you don't need to do this 4868 form if you're using the electronic form, systems, which is really cool. But if you're using e-file, you're using CPA, or using us to do your tax returns to the States, then automatically you would want us to do that for you, or your agent. So the 4868 really is going to be interesting. You could file this paper, but really, do you trust your logistics company in your foreign country and the logistics company in America? Then the fact that it's got to go through an admin process, which I believe the IRS have been found out that they've lost 30 million or destroyed 30 million tax returns. Really? Do you want that? Once it's gone, it's gone. So always do things electronically, because you can then reserve a copy of that and hopefully get some sort of identification number. As it says here, use 4868 form to apply for the 6 months. So again, we're going from June now to October. So we already know that. Make sure you pay your tax liability, but you put that on line 4. So you do need to fill in. This is the 4868 form right in front of you right now. Oops, ooh. But this is the 4868 form right here, as it says there. And so it's a basic form. You don't need to do too much details. And if you're CPA or using an EA or using us as your agent, then we could fill this form in for you. But you do need to estimate your tax liability. Again, if you are British, that's probably going to be 0, right? Because the UK and HMRC like to tax you a lot more than the IRS. But if you're in a low tax country, please make sure that you do some sort of tax calculation to estimate what your taxes are likely to be. So does this stop here? Should you disappear? No, wait. Why? Because we need to be looking at this document. This is now the publication 54, 2021, of course, but it could be 2022. This is universal. Doesn't really matter about years, but publication 54 is what you are going to be looking for. I've gone and put this in. There is a reason why I've put this in. I'm just going to highlight this for you. Is that you can, if you meet the substantial presence test, I mean, let's say that you've moved to the UK or another foreign country, Spain, Hong Kong, France, Dubai, doesn't matter. But if you've been there and you've been there for 183 days and you meet other criteria as well, you are tax resident in there, there's a US and foreign tax treaties such as the UK-US tax treaty, then this is going to be really extra bonus for you as long as you meet the bona fide test as well. And why is that? Well, this one, you have an extra, oh my gosh, what am I doing here, guys? I'm so sorry. I should just press the plus button from now on. Okay, this is a Form 2350, 2350. This is in addition to the 4868, but it gives you an extra time. So from October to December, an extra 2 months, guys, of doing your tax return to the IRS, not payment. Okay, well, I made that clear. Not the payment, but the tax actual form being submitted. It does say here on the Form 2350, I want an extra 2 months because I meet the presence test and the bona fide test. This is quite a good video to understand the deadlines for 1040 tax returns and payments to the IRS for you expats out there. Hopefully that video was useful for you, but please do not stop there. There are plenty of videos that I know that will help you build your wealth whilst reducing your tax liability. And in this video, well, this is the one I think you should be watching right now.